10 things you should know about Dean Smith. You should know that he coached his first North Carolina game on December 2nd, 1961, and his last on March 29th, 1997. If you were born after that, you missed more than a chance to see him orchestrate his Tar Heel teams like a 13-piece Marine Corps band. You missed basketball elegance and a nimble mind that could have taught Steve Jobs about innovation and organization. You should know that during his fourth season at Chapel Hill, Smith was hung in effigy. Now, the arena is named after him.
All right, now all of you pay attention.
You should know that Smith never, ever missed a Tar Heel practice, except there was a time in the late 1960s when he flew all the way to Los Angeles just to watch the great John Wooden conduct the UCLA practice. Smith returned home and told his team he was more convinced than ever Carolina's program was built for success. You should know that Wooden would later declare Smith the best teacher of basketball he had ever seen. You should know that Smith coached in the tumultuous 1960s, 70s, 80s, and 90s, and never once suffered a generation gap of his players. Smith was a social activist without wearing it on his sleeve. You should know that Smith never used profanity. He didn't need to. You should know that when he retired in 1997, no major college coach had more wins than Smith's 879 victories. His teams appeared in 27 NCAA tournaments and 11 Final Fours, and his 2 national championships were partly the product of opponent panic. The inexplicable Fred Brown turnover in 1982 and the infamous Chris Webber timeout in 1993. You should know that Smith could remember the name of every player who played for him, from Michael Jordan to the lowliest walk-on. He could remember the name of every student manager, every staff member. He could remember the names of their wives, of their children. He would write notes to those players long after they had worn Carolina blue. And then one day the legendary memory began to fade. Personalized notes no longer arrived in the mail. You should know that Smith was awarded the Presidential Medal of Freedom, the highest civilian honor you can receive in this country. That's nothing compared to what MJ once gave him: a loving hug and then a kiss to the top of the head. You should know that Smith loved a good book, a good church sermon, and a good golf course. When he coached, he believed in school, program, team, and player in that order. He believed, as he often told his players, that the cream always rises to the top. Robert Frost once wrote, "The afternoon knows what the morning never suspected." For years, decades even, Dean Smith was the afternoon, and almost the entirety of the college basketball coaches he faced were the unsuspecting morning. You should know that only because the humble, reserved Smith would have never told you that himself.